For years, it felt like gaming was becoming less accessible, more expensive, and way more restrictive. GPU prices were out of control. Gaming laptops were overpriced and ran like jet engines and had a battery that lasted about an hour and a half. And if you wanted a console, you were stuck in an ecosystem where you had to buy specific hardware just to play certain games. On top of that, game optimization on PC was becoming a nightmare. More and more games launched in unplayable states, with terrible performance even on high-end hardware. Handheld gaming wasn't much better. Sony had long since abandoned the PlayStation Vita, and while the Nintendo Switch was popular, it was struggling to keep up with modern gaming demands. Then, in 2021, something happened. Valve announced the Steam Deck.
This is Steam Deck.
And suddenly, everything changed. The Steam Deck wasn't just another gaming device. It was a revolution. It redefined handheld gaming, made PC gaming more accessible, and even forced the industry to rethink how games should be played. In this video, we're diving deep into how the Steam Deck didn't just change gaming, it saved it. Now, before we talk about how the Steam Deck changed everything, let's look at the state of gaming before its release. If you were a PC gamer in 2020 or 2021, you'll remember the nightmare that was buying a GPU. Prices were absurd, thanks to supply chain issues and crypto miners. Graphics cards that should have cost $400 were selling for over $1,000. The dream of building an affordable gaming PC was slipping away. Meanwhile, game developers weren't making things any easier. PC ports were getting worse, with many games launching in completely broken states. Some of the worst offenders were Cyberpunk 2077, The Last of Us Part 1, the PC port, and Jedi Survivor, which still to this day doesn't run that great. Even high-end PCs were struggling to run games smoothly. Console gaming wasn't much better. Sony and Microsoft were pushing harder than ever for exclusivity, locking some of the best games behind their respective platforms. If you wanted to play God of War, you needed a PlayStation. Gamers had to choose a side or shell out thousands for multiple systems. And handheld gaming? Well, outside of the Nintendo Switch, there wasn't much going on. The PlayStation Vita had been abandoned by Sony years earlier, and while the Switch was great, its hardware was aging fast.
That is loud.
More demanding games were either running at terrible frame rates or just skipping the platform entirely. Gaming was becoming a mess. It felt like no matter what platform you were on, there were compromises. PC gaming was expensive and broken. Console gaming was restrictive, and handheld gaming was barely an option. But then came the Steam Deck. In July 2021, Valve did something no one expected. They announced the Steam Deck, a handheld gaming PC that promised to give you access to your entire Steam library on the go. This wasn't just another attempt at a handheld console. This was a full-fledged PC that fit in your hands, and unlike traditional gaming devices, it wasn't locked down. You could install Windows, emulators, other game launchers. Valve gave players total freedom. And let's talk about the price in some regions. Compared to gaming laptops and even GPUs at the time, the Steam Deck was ridiculously affordable, starting at just $399. It was one of the best price-to-performance devices in the gaming market, depending on the region you're in. Suddenly, people who couldn't afford a high-end PC had a real alternative. It wasn't just a gaming device, it was a statement. An open, affordable, consumer-friendly alternative in an industry that was becoming more restrictive by the day. Now, the Steam Deck wasn't just a cool gadget. It set off a chain reaction that changed gaming forever. The revival of handheld PC gaming. Before the Steam Deck, handheld gaming PCs were a niche product. But after its success, suddenly, every major tech company wanted in. Asus released the ROG Ally, Lenovo dropped the Legion Go, and even MSI entered the space. Valve proved that there was a demand for handheld PC gaming. And now we have an entire category of devices that didn't exist before, making PC games more accessible. One of the biggest problems with PC gaming has always been its price barrier, but the Steam Deck changed that. For $399, you could own a device capable of playing AAA games on the go, and since it was running SteamOS, you weren't locked into buying games from one store. You could take advantage of Steam sales, indie games, and even cloud gaming services, pushing developers to optimize their games. Because the Steam Deck has a limited power budget, developers started considering lower spec optimizations again. We've seen a resurgence in performance modes and better PC ports because of it. Games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Elden Ring received major updates to run better on low-end hardware, benefiting all PC gamers, not just Steam Deck users, pressuring console makers. Even Sony and Microsoft have taken notice. Sony has been ramping up PC releases of its exclusives, with games like Spider-Man, The Last of Us Part 1, and Horizon Forbidden West all coming to Steam. Meanwhile, Microsoft's hinted at the possibility at an Xbox handheld in the future. The Steam Deck has forced the gaming industry to rethink its approach, and we're all benefiting from it. Fast forward to today, and the Steam Deck's influence is undeniable. We now have an entire handheld PC gaming market. Game developers are taking optimization more seriously. PC gaming is more accessible than ever. Even console makers are adjusting their strategies. The Steam Deck didn't just shake things up. It created a future where gaming isn't tied to a single platform, a single company, or a single device. At the end of the day, the Steam Deck didn't just change gaming. It saved it. It proved that gaming could still be open, affordable, and consumer-friendly. It gave us more freedom, more competition, and more choices. And in an industry that's constantly pushing for more control, the Steam Deck is a reminder that players should always have options. But what do you think? Has the Steam Deck changed gaming for the better? Do you own one, or are you thinking about getting one? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to know as soon as I post stuff, and let me know down below with future topics you want to see on the channel. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.